All right, guys. Crazy red day so far, to be honest. Apple, Amazon report. These might save the market. They might not. We'll have to wait and see. Let me make sure my headphones are playing. There we go. We're in there. All right. So, again, chat. Kind of a crazy day in stocks. A lot of red action. Definitely a brutal, like bloody red market right now. Maybe, something that we do see sometimes though, chat. Like something that we do see is that big red action ahead of major earnings. And then the market gets kind of saved almost from the earnings report. I'm not saying that's going to happen here. I genuinely don't know what's going to happen. But, that we do get that sometimes. Where the earnings call kind of saves the market almost. So yeah, we'll cover Coinbase, Amazon. We'll cover all of them for sure. I'm gonna put Apple, what they're expecting. Yeah, so Apple is expecting for their earnings. Let me know if you can hear the music. You should be able to. But yeah, Apple is expecting $1.34 EPS. On revenue of $83.79 billion. Amazon is expecting, let's see, Amazon is expecting 105 EPS. We also have Coinbase on a revenue of 148.54 million. Or billion, sorry, with the B. Coin, Intel, Roku, Square, DraftKings. The biggest tech earnings day of the season is today, guys. Apple kind of sideways, though. So, I'm not down big on anything, really, but I'm down small in a lot of different things. Specifically, AI. Nvidia just fell from 120s all the way back down to 109s. Tesla dropped to 215s. So, yeah. And so we got a lot of stuff to watch. Can you hear the music? Yeah, here, let me. There we go. Just lost half of my net worth. Sorry to hear that, Q. But to be honest, brother, if today's drop in the SPY, the SPY dropped what today? The SPY dropped $14 a share on SPY dropped from 554 down to 540. So calculating this is 2.5%, bro. If the SPY dropping 2.5% during earnings season made you lose half of your net worth, you're trading way, way, way too large, bro. I get it. Everybody wants to get rich, but that's not a very smart trading plan, bro. Like, if you want to be able to have longevity, the biggest edge you'll ever have is long-term investing, value investing in the S&P, the NASDAQ index funds. If you lost 50% today, you're trading way too big, bro. Way too big. Q dropped a ton though. Yeah, so the Q down big. Again, Q was all the way down to 458. So if we look at the Q dropped from 474 down to 456. So the Q dropped about 3.7%, but even still, it's nowhere near 50%. Like, you know, we were like, really over the last week or so, yeah, we're kind of flat in the market over the past. The market's basically flat since the last week straight. So the last week straight, the way we could see this, all right, so looking at Apple, we're zooming out here. Apple, of course, bloody red downward pressure. Amazon as well. If we look at the Q, even with this big red day, you put up like a 30-minute chart. We've been flat for the last week. You know, we're sideways here. Look. Now, we dropped a little bit before that, but you know, that's the price action. So it's not like it's the end of the world scenario. Again, people are sensationalizing it like they do, but you know, why the market is falling? Let me check. CrowdStrike says Delta rejected offers to assist in recovery, according to Bloomberg. Atlanta Fed GDP now is 2.5%, previous 2.8%. Apple asked U.S. judge to dismiss government antitrust case. Colombia, July inflation is at 0.27%, 12 months showing 6.94%. I'm trying to see anything that would tank the market. Honeywell files for senior notes offering. ConocoPhillips expects to deliver low single-digit production. IAG terminates acquisition of Air Europa. Yeah, I mean, something that happened Microsoft-wise. It says Microsoft is altering its plan to share sensitive AI hardware and intellectual property with G42 amid growing concerns about the company's ties to China, according to Politico, citing sources. U.S. is also going to sell $76 billion in 13 weeks, so they did a bond auction today. Yeah. Let me do a poll. I realize that I haven't done a poll yet. So let's get one up. Does Apple beat or miss today? Vote on the poll. Do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the notification bell while you're here. We appreciate the, yeah, is the sky falling? Yeah, Microsoft hasn't dropped much though. Yeah, so it's not Microsoft causing the drop, it's Nvidia. Again, this is Nvidia specifically. Again, Nvidia down 108 from 120. So Nvidia's down a percentage for sure. Nvidia's down about 10% is what it looks like it's down. It's at 108, drop from 120. So about 10% drop in Nvidia is what it looks like to me. From 120 down to 108 is, yeah, exactly 10%. Wow, look at that. So Nvidia down 10% today. That is really why everything else is falling. Is, again, specifically that Nvidia is tanking here. Here's Nvidia again, down from 120 down to 108. Here's a quick question. Look at my indicator shining over here. But anyways, back to the point. What do you guys prefer? All right, we got a couple options. I'm thinking here's an option that we might want to use more. Let me see. Where we could put like Amazon. You can put like Googled up here. Look at other tech stocks. Coinbase on the bottom, and I can kind of zoom in here and just have something up. I could probably still put these charts up like this, so that we got more than one chart on the screen. I think that's probably a better move. No, what do you guys think? And then we got like Coinbase. Coinbase is down in amid crypto pulling back. Some is down to 210s. AMD you put up there. AMD's down for sure. MU down for sure. But we could just put all the big stocks up. Again, this market is tanking specifically from Nvidia dropping big. Microchips for sure. Is it time to buy the dip? I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, absolutely crazy day. Looking at the poll numbers, we got 50 votes already. 57% think Apple beats. 43% think Apple misses. Yeah, crazy time. Crazy time. All right, so we're gonna do a poll here as well. All right, chat. What a pointless yesterday. Yeah, the whole market bounced back yesterday just to fall all the way back down today. Rotation from Nvidia to Coca-Cola? Nah. What has happened today? Let me see if I can find some other... 8/1/2024. Let's see if we can figure out some more information on this. You guys can't hear the static. So rate cut expectations, recession fears. These factors combined have resulted in a significant market sell-off. Basically, them thinking about cutting rates. The market is now anticipating a slower pace of rate cuts in 24, reducing from 6 expected cuts to just 4. This has led to concerns about prolonged higher interest, which negatively impacts stock valuations. I don't know. I disagree with that. What articles have been posted over the last 5 hours speaking on the market fall today? See what we got. Profitable day, my fund account got called Big Candle Red. Yeah, we're gonna cover Coin. We're gonna cover Apple. We're gonna cover Amazon. We're gonna cover Google. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it could be fear overseas. Heat map looking red. Yeah, everything's red. Hope Amazon, Apple, Intel beat earnings. That'll make bump up. Yeah, a lot of the time, this is something that we get. Concerns about potential inflation and the impact on future economic stability have also contributed. Yeah, so this is just reactions to the rate cut potential in September, is what a lot of people are saying. All right, guys, SPY at 541. So the SPY is starting to rebound a little bit. Nvidia's been flat. Again, the big eyes are going to be on Apple and Amazon, really. We're going to watch Coinbase too, but Nvidia is tanking this market. Nvidia is really the prime reason the market's down such a massive amount short term. And so, yeah. Again, we'll see what happens, but it's time for big tech earnings today. Tomorrow, we also have like oil earnings. So tomorrow we have Chevron, Exxon, AMC in the afternoon as well. Let me see what's trending here. I would go with GPT-4. It's probably the best one personally, but it's not. Mine's $20 a month. Yeah, Nvidia going up, huge, down big. Yield versus equity discrepancy, sure. Yeah, I'm down a couple $100 today, but I'm still pretty profitable overall on this portfolio. Like, none of this is really super influential over mine. I mean, it's not good. I'm not happy about it, but you know, I'll be all right. And again, that should be everybody's portfolio. All right, again, we got, here's Amazon. I'm curious to see if this is going to work too. Amazon at Coinbase at 210. Coinbase and Bitcoin have had a big fall from grace as well. Bitcoin at 63K today too, so everything's kind of negatively reacting. Where's gold today? Gold is all the way up still. People are hedging towards gold. Gold broke lifetime highs actually earlier this morning. So again, gold broke lifetime highs, got up to $2,500 a share. Everything else tanked. So we'll see what happens to gold. But gold breaking lifetime highs. Buy AMD, Nvidia. No, I'm not telling anybody to buy anything. We had an organized plan to short that pop. Please stop spamming, see the world. Yeah, it's definitely a rough day. Yeah, we'll see. Apple and Amazon do have a possibility to save the market today. They absolutely have a chance to save the market. The whole market is fearing what happened today. And so if Apple comes out even slightly optimistic, I'm optimistic towards Apple and Amazon. I think I think today's a day where we're down majorly, and I think if we do have some crazy bounce back, it's going to happen today. I think Apple and Amazon, a lot of the time what we see big red action and then earnings happen and then they kind of sometimes can save the market. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it's certainly possible. We'll see. Again, Amazon earnings today, Apple earnings today. MU still sitting low. What four charts? We're going to have Apple and Amazon up. We'll probably have Coinbase up. We also have Intel earnings today, which I don't know if I'm still in Intel or not. I don't think I am. I think I sold my Intel not too long ago. If I am in, it's very small. Okay, I am in, but it's very small for Intel. But we do have Intel earnings today. Again, we also have... You can see we're still green on the day. We didn't really... lose much today. Day trading at least. Major earnings. SPY bounced it all the way back to 441 or 541. So we are seeing some rebounds and everything. Everything's just so extended on the downside here, chat. So extended earnings wise. Again, Intel expecting 10-cent profit on 12.92 billion. The problem with Intel is it's not really profitable. Coinbase at 107, at least margin wise, it's not good for Intel. That is Roku. Again, I believe Roku's going to fail as a company. I've been saying this for years. This is another company that I think is on the way out. Okay, why do I think Roku's on the way out, chat? I believe Roku's on the way out because people don't need a hardware system like Roku anymore. Roku was at almost $500 a share back in 2021. They're now at $55 a share. They have lost a large percentage of their value, almost 90%. And again, Roku was a hardware company in their prime, right? They were a hardware company. People would need their hardware to get access to different things. The world is moving towards more software-related businesses in terms of streaming and tech and everything like that. And again, it's going to be very easy for these television companies and brands to create their own identical versions of Roku software, native, in-house, and completely eliminate Roku, right? I'm a big believer in that. I genuinely think Roku's on its way out. I've been saying this for years, and since I've been saying this for the last few years, Roku has dropped a lot. You know, I've been saying this for years. Roku, since December, has dropped 50% plus. You know, so Roku's down a lot. Again, I'm not a big believer in them, but hey, I'm not against you. We also have Snapchat earnings today too, dude. Man, we got all these big earnings today. Snapchat, Roku, Coinbase, Intel, Apple, Amazon, Square, DraftKings, Marathon, Mara, Twilio, DoorDash, GoDaddy, Rocket, MCHP, Big Bear. Just so many big earnings today, guys. It's going to be chaos after the closing bell. Literal chaos. Major earnings. These have the possibility to completely influence everything. And again, it is possible we rebound. It is also possible that if we're going to crash, today's the day. If say tech earnings comes out wildly disappointing, it's very possible that we just crash down. We'll see though. All right, chat. All right, so we got a little dip here, but man, that is not what we need to hear. I mean, I'm just putting out the possibilities. I'm, you know me, I'm never really pushing for crashes or corrections or anything like that. I'm just telling you guys probabilities. With the big drops we've gotten today, it's possible if we get really bad earnings, bad things can happen. You know, I'm not like, you always got to look at everything in context to, you know. All right, so let me see. Did you trade this downtrend? No. Intel's 100% missing earnings, probably. What a day, John. Yeah, for sure, Frostbite. Crazy day, brother. Connor, I believe that was their plan. They knew it was going to be good earnings, so they took the profit, let it fall, and it will be back again tomorrow. My crazy thoughts. We'll see, Jose. I hope so. I hope you're right. I feel bad for meta investors. What a bad earnings reward for those who didn't sell. Yeah, I cut most of my position here. I think I'm still holding. No, I'm out of completely on meta. So, yeah, just to show you, I'm not in meta anymore. I don't really tell you guys exactly when I get in around anything, but I am no longer holding meta. But I made some money on it, so looks like it was a good move there. I did lighten up a lot of my positions. With the greatest respect, as long as you aren't tanking in an over-leveraged short position, I think you should consider yourself a little beyond beginner. Yeah. Maybe. Pepsi is up. Yeah, it's hard to keep up. Chat's moving today. Yeah, I hear about the potential attack overseas prediction. Gold for market hedge. Yeah, I hold GLD for gold. No crash market makers went in cheap and tanked the market. Now we fly. I hope so, Fu. I hope so, brother. I'm not sure if that's what we're gonna get, but I sure do hope that's what happens. You know. I'm drinking a boba tea. It's all right. A little too sweet for me, but all right, chat. Again, what four charts do you want on my? What four stocks do you want on my charts here? Do you want? I'm definitely putting Apple and Amazon up. So I'm definitely putting Apple and Amazon. But outside of that, you know, I'm probably gonna put Coinbase up there as well. I could put Snapchat. We could put Intel. I could put like an index fund, like the SPY or Q. Put a futures contract. Yeah, the Q is down like 3.5% right now, Jonathan. Yeah, Meta's still probably fine. I'll tell you this, it needs to be a large cap stock or an index fund. It's not going to be a penny stock that nobody's ever heard of. Bitcoin, I could put Bitcoin up. Intel, Nvidia. I think the best choice is probably Nvidia because the whole market is moving with Nvidia here, right? So the whole freaking market's moving with Nvidia. And so in that regard, like, it's probably the chart that you should want to look at because it's going to be influencing this whole market. A lot of people pushing for Intel. Bitcoin, yeah. All right, guys. Major earnings reports. We did, guys. I hope you guys are ready. SPY bounced it up. It's at 542s. 542s. So it's back up a little bit. Meta still pretty low. 495s. Coinbase up to 211s. We'll see if Bitcoin can rise here. This is one of the only times I've seen my indicator be really wrong. Like, even on Amazon. This indicator works pretty well. I guess on Amazon it's not the most effective. It doesn't look like it, at least. There's some stocks it works on, some stocks it doesn't. Let's try it on Aapl. Yeah, I think today's just a weird day too, for sure. All right, so that one worked nice. We got the rejection there. That one worked really nice. Called the bottom. That one was wrong, but that one was right. That one was wrong. You know, at the open it seems pretty profitable, but these seem okay. Pre-market it looks like it's really nice. Seems to work the best almost in pre-market. Like, look. Good range there. Yeah, I mean, I still definitely think it's over 50. Anyways. I'm trying to keep up with the chat. We just got so many people talking now because so much craziness is going on in the market, guys, that I'm doing my best. So if I don't get to your comment, you know, we're not just gonna be able to stare at chat all day. We're gonna look at stuff, analyze stuff. That's normal. So technically Apple's scheduled for after the close sometime. We don't know when they're gonna come out. I feel like the market fears the data for tomorrow. Yeah, non-farm payroll data comes out tomorrow. So tomorrow is an absolutely huge day. Payroll report comes out tomorrow. It's pretty funny that you can ignore market news, world news, economic data, earnings, technical analysis, fundamental analysis, and everything and just buy solid ETFs. Honestly, you're going to have better results doing that than analyzing things, right? Like, you're going to have better results. This portfolio I'm about to say will beat almost all day traders, almost all individual stock pickers. And this portfolio goes the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, gold, and bonds, right? Precious metals, maybe silver. You could throw silver in there. Real estate investment trusts and bonds, right? That portfolio is going to beat almost everything long term, right? So you don't have to pick stocks. You could literally just sit in that. It's the earnings this evening that depend on Nvidia chips. Bitcoin, yeah, you throw some Bitcoin in there. AMD just reported earnings that raised outlook at shares. Tried on Ford. I'm in Ford right now. I'm down. Almost everything is down. The crazy part of today is almost everything is down. Which is interesting, you know. I'm looking at it on Ford. Ford just doesn't have enough range to profit from strategies like this. It looks like it'd probably work though, but I try to get over that 200 EMA level. Amazon climbing. Yeah, Amazon's back up to over the 200 EMA. Again, Apple's still trying though. Look, so Apple rejecting right at that 200 moving average here. So here's Apple. Here's Amazon. Yeah, I saw it, Justin. People are being weird about it, but she was born a female. Like there's a lot of like misinformation about that, dude. Like, she was born a female. You know, I'm not sure why people are upset. What do you think about Lyft? I think Lyft's probably on its way out as a company. Uber's taken over, and you know, generally once a company like this starts to lose market share and interest, the big one, marketing, picks up, takes over. So, you know, Uber has one of the worst long-term trends ever. It was at $88 on IPO day. It is now at $11, and it's been downtrending basically since IPO. It was really big, but Uber just took over, you know. All right, guys, we still got about 20 minutes before the bell rings. And again, so Amazon's scheduled to release right at the close, like right at the closing bell, Amazon. Apple releases a couple minutes after, at least that's what it's scheduled to. But we're going to cover it. You never really know. Yeah, but you're probably an outlier, Tallahassee. So Tallahassee says, I still use Lyft occasionally. I really don't use Uber. You're probably an outlier. Almost everybody else uses Uber, to be honest. Anyways, Amazon just dipped under the 200 EMA, so it's still kind of sideways. Apple bouncing up a little bit. A lot of red, brutal red activity today, so definitely a lot of red action. I'm down a lot of my longs on the NASDAQ and the E-mini. Hopefully Apple and Amazon boost me to break even. We'll see. There's a chance that happens. Like, it sometimes can happen. I'm not going to say it's going to happen. There's also a chance that we just kind of dump, like, massively down from this report. So, again, we'll see. We're going to do our best to cover all of this stuff, but, you know, again, we'll see. No such thing as Lyft fans, only anti-Uber fans, right? Yeah, the only people that are really going to use Lyft are usually people that have something against Uber. All right, chat. Again, give me your predictions. Apple. Let's get ready, guys. Again, if we're looking at some stocks here. All right, so let's check out the EPS of Amazon. Amazon reports first. We're going to move on to Apple. Stick around. Here's Amazon. All right, so here's Amazon's EPS. All right, Amazon showing like a pretty good trend of EPS. You know, they spent some money on expansion, right? So anytime a company's margins struggle, if they're big enough and they're smart enough, it's usually because they're expanding stuff. But again, generally pretty profitable. I think Amazon lost some money on Rivian back here, but back to the point, they're still making about $1 per share EPS, and there's tons of shares, billions and billions of shares. So, you know, they could be better, but they're not too bad. If we take a look at Apple's margins, you know, people always wonder why I like Apple. This is why. Look at their freaking graphs. Like, this is why Apple is one of the strongest companies in the world. It just makes sense, right? Like, people wonder why you like Apple. You know, there's a lot of negative, like, nonsense about, oh, Apple's not going to survive. The amount of people that years and years ago told me Apple wasn't a good buy. If you look at Apple's long-term chart, this is why I like Apple over almost every major stock. I like Amazon as well, and I think Amazon's going to continue to get better margins over time too. But Apple is that play in which is just pretty easy bet. You know, pretty easy bet. You know, I remember going to Disney World like 6 years ago, and this was when my live streams were first kind of gaining some traction. And I remember my sister-in-law asking me, hey, what stock should I buy and hold for a long time? My response was Apple. You know, Apple's the stock to buy and sit on. So, and again, since then, Apple has gone from like $50 a share all the way to $220, $230. The PE ratio of Apple, I'm pretty sure, is pretty small as well. Let's take a look. This is why I use AI, bro. I literally use AI for everything. Like, look at this. What's the PE of Apple? This is taking a little bit longer. Approximately 34, which isn't the best, to be honest. It's not amazing, but it's probably better than Amazon. See, I typed Amazon wrong, the symbol. I typed in accidentally AMZB. Okay, yeah. So Amazon's PE ratio is about 51. So Amazon's got a much worse PE ratio. Coinbase starting to bounce back. Amazon over the 200 EMA. Apple's trying is at 220s. Still got 15 minutes left until the close. And so be ready, chat. All right, chat. I think AMD will feel more born ready. Sometimes stocks run on their own, but today they were all run together. Why? It doesn't. I don't know if they're gonna run together. I hope they run together. You know. Where do I see what time the earnings start? Earnings come out after the bell. Now, as for what they're gonna do, nobody knows. Almost everything, guys. The thing to understand here, chat, is you might be wondering why. Why are all these stocks down today? Right? You might look at your individual stock, whatever your flavor is, like AMD, MU, Nvidia, Walmart, Apple, you know, whatever it is. You might be wondering, why is your stock down? I'm here to tell you, your stock down almost certainly is not from its own individual weakness, but more so the market weakness. The real reason the market is down is because Nvidia right here plays a massive, massive influence on everything. On all these major stocks, Nvidia is the big one that influences them all, right? And Nvidia is down 10% today. So Nvidia tanked the whole market, dragging everything down with it. And that is most likely why your stock is down too, especially if you're a Magnificent 7 stockholder. Like if you hold Apple, Amazon, Meta, Google, Netflix, like your stocks are probably down today because of Nvidia microchip weakness. Now, it doesn't mean everything's going to be weak, and there's a chance that we bounce back. Nvidia is almost back up to 110s, so we'll see if it can come back a little bit. Still down about 10% on the day, though, almost exactly 10%. The SPY is slowly fighting back as well. SPY back up to 545s, so the SPY's trying to come back too. In chat, guys, does Apple beat or miss? Do they beat or miss? Looking at our polls, 63% think they beat, 37% think they miss. You know, what's really interesting, though, is that this has to be... So, like, viewership has been weird on YouTube lately. It has to be some type of registering difference, though. Because, like, here's an example, right? If we look at our poll has almost 300 votes, right? It says we have 240 people here. That seems off to me, right? Like, that doesn't seem like it's accurately gauging how many people are here versus, like, because if 300 people are voting on the poll... Yeah, we only got 240 here. That seems off. And this was going on like a couple months ago, and then it got better, and then and now it's kind of been like that again. So it's just strange, and I'm seeing it not just for me. This is for everybody, all major YouTubers. Yeah, Amazon. I mean, the pattern right here is this, right? I'm not gonna play it because this is just too volatile of a day, but. It's riding the 200 EMA. Here's the 200 EMA. It's just kind of riding that. So. Genius. Is that a Brachiosaurus? Or is that a horse? Anybody want to guess? Dropped 90% after it made a comment. I thought stocks were down due to this economic data released at 8:30 this morning, which JP referred to as yesterday as a major indicator on whether or not he cut rates. We're going to happen in September. Wrong. So yeah, William, the economic data that came out today showed very small differences. Like with the expected manufacturing PMI data is, I'm assuming what you mean. Jobless claims is a weekly report. So that's insignificant. What ISM PMI came out today, and it was even kind of like, it wasn't even that big of a report. It wasn't it was flat too. Prices were up, but PMI data was down. But yeah, this is definitely not why the market's down. The more important report is not manufacturing PMI. The more important report is tomorrow, which is non-farm payrolls and unemployment. Much bigger report, like interest-wise, much bigger report. Like the market watches payroll numbers much more than manufacturing PMI data. There you get a range of manufacturing PMI data that drops every week, right? The more important one is payroll numbers that drop tomorrow. Anyone who launches chat has to vote before they can even see the chat history. Is that true? Yeah, it's the CrowdStrike thing that messed it up, I'm pretty sure. Hey, thanks, William. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, all good. Yeah, we'll see if the market bounces back. We got 7 minutes before the closing bell. Chat. Bad news is now bad news. That's why it's down. Yeah, but look. Okay, I could even maybe see it if PMI data came in like wildly worse than expected, right? But PMI data showed up at 49. Okay, just to clarify, ISM PMI data showed up at 49. Last time it showed at 48.5. Right, and it didn't even necessarily... Last time it showed up at 48.5. This time it showed up at 48.9. So, virtually the same as last time for ISM PMI. We had S&P Manufacturing PMI. It showed up a little bit lower. But again, the ISM data is the big one. Barely any difference from last time. The non-farm payroll report, again, drops tomorrow. That's the big boy report that you want to watch. That's the one in which you're going to have major movement. Apple now, guys. Apple falling fast here. So, look at Apple dump. Apple down to 217s. So Apple just dumped under the 200 EMA up. The only thing I can think of with this report is that people are scared negative responses are going to happen to these earnings today. This is the biggest earnings report day of the season, right? Possibly of the year. Like we have Amazon, Apple, DraftKings, Coinbase, Intel, just so many earnings reports today. So many. Like just a ridiculous amount of earnings today. That it's kind of shocking. to be honest, how many earnings they have. I think it's a terrible idea to schedule this many earnings reports on the same freaking day. It's just going to cause massive volatility. Like, we have Amazon, Apple, Intel, Coinbase, Roku, Square, DraftKings, Snapchat, Mara, Twilio, DoorDash, GoDaddy's, Rocket, Microchip Tech. Just so many companies dropped today. Clorox, Sprout, AXT, Motorola, US Steel, Corsair, like Ring. Honestly, it keeps on going. I'm not sure why they designed it this way, where they have every freaking major earnings report you can think of drop earnings at the same time. It seems like a recipe for disaster, personally. But I'm biased because, like, I want to be able to stream them all, you know. And if they're all on the same day, I mean, I'm going to stream Apple and Amazon, but we're not going to be able to stream the call for the other ones. There's too many of them. But yeah, chat. 4 minutes left. 4 minutes. Are you thinking that we're in a correction period, or maybe we're entering a bear market? You know, I think we could be. I think if you look at like the S&P or the NASDAQ here, remember Amazon is going to be the big one. It drops in 3.5 minutes, chat. If we look at the S&P 500 today, I don't think so. I mean, like, this is the pullback the S&P 500 is facing. I think a more accurate look is probably going to be the NASDAQ. That's the pullback, not really the end of the world pullback that you want to see in a correction or a crash. We can look at NDX here, the NASDAQ. It's a larger pullback for sure on a weekly chart, but even still, I don't think this is outside the range of trend that we're currently in. I think if you draw trend lines here, like, it's gonna pretty much follow the same trend. So we'll see, but I don't know. Get ready, guys. Amazon earnings dropping very, very soon. Very, very soon. Do y'all hear the noise this is making? Anyways, here we go. I thought I had some Epidemic Sounds playlist playing here. Let me find it. I think these headphones are dying now, unfortunately. Wonder if I use these. I haven't actually tried to use these big old headphones. Somebody gave me these headphones as a gift. All right, guys, we got 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Two minutes, chat. I don't even know what these headphones are called. There we go. All right, guys. A minute and a half. Again, this is a big earnings day, guys. Y'all be ready. I'm not sure what kind of volatility we're going to get from this today, but it's big. If they both beat... Yeah, it is possible that this whole thing gets rebounded from earnings. Be ready, though, chat. This is it right now. This is time. Can y'all hear the music? I just reset it, so you should be able to hear the music. I just want to make sure. Yeah, guidance is going to be huge. Remember, guys, I'm going to put Amazon back up on the left side here. So the earning reports that are technically scheduled to drop at... again, the earnings reports are technically scheduled to drop at the bell here. Yeah, my earnings whisper is down. Must be getting too much traffic today. All right, guys, 45 seconds. It's cool. I don't really use them anyway. We got Apple, Amazon. All right, guys, 20 seconds. 20 seconds. All right, so the timer's going off right now, but they're not out yet. So again, we got a couple seconds left. Be ready. Here we go. Amazon's scheduled to drop right now. Let's see. All right, there is the closing bell, chat. There's the close. Whew, here we go. Watch Amazon first, I would say. Watch Amazon first. I'm going to put Intel up also on the chat. All right, guys. Here we go. Waiting here. I don't see any movement yet. It's quiet. There's crickets right now. All right. Waiting here. I see no movement in almost anything. Waiting for stocks to pop. Amazon looks like it might be out, though. All right. Amazon down to 178. Negative reaction so far. Amazon down to 176 is here. Big drop. All the way back up. Let's see if it rebounds. Amazon back up. It's moving like the earnings are out, but I'm not sure. Intel down, guys. Intel at 2750s. 2750s for Intel. I'm going to go ahead and sell my Intel position. It's a very small. I have 4 shares of Intel. Very small. I'm just going to cut that. Amazon down, guys, at 174s. All right, Amazon is out. Net sales increased to 148 billion. Operating increased to 14.7 billion. Amazon posted 126 EPS versus 103 expected. Revenue of 148. They expected 148.56, so a little bit lower than expected revenue for Amazon, to be honest. And Amazon is not reacting well to this. Again, GAAP EPS was 126. Their sales missed here. We're going to put those numbers up on the screen, but Amazon just missed earnings, which, again, might spark something disastrous today if we get a bunch of negative stuff here. Again, Intel down to 2590s. Chat, 2590s. Amazon rebounding a little bit, though, but again, they missed their revenue. Their BDPS missed revenue. We're going to put that up on screen. There's Amazon's numbers right there. Still waiting on everything else, but that's Amazon's numbers. Again, Amazon North American segment increased 9%, international increased 7%. They guided at 158.5 billion. So they guided better than expected here, which is what caused this recent pop. I'm going to put the guidance up in chat right there. So there's the guidance for Amazon. It looks like Intel missed, but Amazon guided better, okay, is what happened. So Amazon guided better. They're still down, though, a lot. Let's see if we can get Intel's numbers up here. Intel posted a miss of EPS at 2-cent miss. They also missed revenue. I'm going to put this timer up. Apple is scheduled for dropping in about 26 minutes. Intel down to 26, 25s. So Intel down a lot. So far, this is not the recovery that you wanted today, for sure. Although my portfolio is actually looking a little bit better somehow. Something got better. Again, wait for 405. That's when a lot of these other ones are dropping. At 405 is when the rest mostly drop. Apple, Amazon, downtrending. Intel down. Coinbase hasn't released yet, I don't think. But Amazon just broke lows. Chat. Snapchat. My normal source is down for the times of these. I usually use Earnings Whisper, but Earnings Whisper server's down today somehow. Intel and Amazon both missed, though, and they're down big from their reports. Still waiting on Snapchat. Yeah, Intel had a really bad reaction. Amazon back up to 175s, though. Intel all the way down to 25s. Chat, 25s. Way to go, Snapchat. It's not out yet. But a big drop for Intel. Looks like it was a good move for me to sell most of my position. I had 4 shares left, though, so NASDAQ doesn't seem to be bothered so far by earnings. Yeah, for sure. The big one hasn't really, like, Amazon's down. What are they down? They're down from 186 down to 176 roughly. So they're down $10 a share on an almost $200 stock. So they're down like 4% right now from earnings, which is not a small drop, but it is. It's not like Nvidia today, down 10% plus. And Amazon's starting to fight its way back. It's almost up to 178. It's almost back up to 180s. And so the negative reaction for Amazon, I wonder if there's a dip buy here, but I don't know, man. I'm so nervous about the rest of these earnings that I'm just gonna wait. Waiting on Snapchat here. All the big ones are supposed to be released right now. Amazon's already back. Coinbase is not out. Intel down big. Snap's not out yet. Mara. Let's check out Mara. Mara's not out yet. What else was today? Amazon all the way back up to 180s, guys. Let's see if this is the start of that rebound that we wanted. All right, so I'm back up with my sources here. All right, Amazon all the way back up here. Coinbase finally having this negative reaction. All right. Let's see if we can fight our way back here. We still got time for Apple earnings. Coinbase down to 213s here. Not a shock. Still waiting on Apple. Waiting on Snapchat too. Snapchat nothing yet. Yeah, it looks like earnings whispers servers are down. Nvidia up. Yeah, Nvidia's bouncing back up on a lot of stuff. Apple's still waiting here, guys. We got 20 plus minutes for Apple. Coin posted. So we do have Intel, Amazon, Vertex, VRTX posted a loss of $12.83 a share. They expected a $4.14 profit. Massive loss for VRTX. But VRTX is kind of a really sketchy company anyway. Coinbase is not out yet. Neither is Snapchat. So we're still waiting on those. Neither is Apple. Yeah, I don't know. Amazon's basically flat from this report. So Amazon guided better, missed revenue, but guided better. That's the story. So they had better than expected EPS. Revenue's usually a little bit more of a influence, though, and they missed revenue, but their guidance was good, which it trumps everything else, right? So that's kind of where we're at now, why Amazon is kind of flat, where they had good EPS, bad revenue, good guidance, right? So neutral. And they're basically neutral, but slightly down there at 180s. Apple's the big one that can and will influence markets, and maybe we'll get some good action from it. I really don't know, but Apple's the one you probably want to pay attention to right now. So we'll see. Again, Intel at 2570s. I don't know if I'm brave enough to buy that dip. Mara's starting to push up, though. See the timing of some of these. Like, I'm not gonna pay for earnings whisper. All right, Mara up. Still waiting. There's a red flag about the coming days. Maybe. Coinbase. Yeah, Coinbase is flat. It's at 210s. Apple dipping down a little bit. The problem with Apple is that the PE ratio is a little bit, or problem with Amazon dipping down a little bit. MicroStrategy just reported 111 million revenue for the quarter two. So MicroStrategy Bitcoin Rise did post. Yeah, Ron, please stop spamming, dude. Like, calm down, dude. I'll tell you this, every time the market drops 2 to 5%, people say it's the end of the world, sky is falling, it's a correction, Chicken Little comes out. And maybe we do, but again, it's, at this point in time, I'm skeptical. Yeah. I snap out. Snapchat down to $10 a share. So Snap is out. Snap posted an increase of 16% year over year for the second quarter revenue. Daily active users increased 9% to 432 million. Net loss is 34% better. Adjusted EBITDA is 243% better. Free cash flow 73 million. So again, Snapchat is out. Adjusted EBITDA 55 million. And again, Snapchat's down big. Honestly, though, it's interesting. My portfolio is actually doing a little bit better now than before the close. Don't mean to ask personal questions, but do you make a lot from your divvies? Do you ever think you could live off of them? No, I'm not living off my dividends. You get Snapchat dumping down here on a 2-cent loss per share. They expected 2 cents, 1.24 billion in revenue, slight miss. There's Snap's numbers right there. Again, so Snap is down. Mara, we're still rating on Mara. Still got a couple minutes before Aapl. I'm gonna buy up a little bit of Snapchat down here. Snapchat is still so highly used by young people. I don't mind taking a small little position here and play with it. We were basically flat in it. Amazon bouncing back up some. It's at 175s. Again, Amazon numbers are right here. We'll put the Amazon numbers up. They guided better than expected. They missed EPS, or they beat EPS, missed revenue, posted good guidance. So we'll put that up on screen so you can see it. But we're also putting up what Aapl posted here. They also guided better. Again, that's the big thing about Aapl, is they did guide better. Yeah, Amazon's kind of flat from this report. It's down a little bit, but are any of these good? I mean, define good. Discipline, Apple, the greatest American company ever, will save the day. We'll see, bro. I hope so. Apple testing lows of pre-market. Mara up. Snapchat down. Intel down. Google's down today. Where's Microsoft at despite all this stuff? Microsoft had earnings. Amazon just retraced all the way back up to the 200 EMA and then dropped. I guess they missed, but how much they missed, I don't know. Drop it like it's hot for Apple? Yeah, we'll see, dude. We got over 1,000 people here. I'm going to put it in sub-only mode, help the growth a little bit for the channel. So subscribe if you haven't yet, chat. What I'm curious about is Nvidia, yeah, so again, way to go to Apple. We still got 15 minutes. Here's Nvidia. Nvidia's back to 110, so Nvidia's down roughly 10% today, a little bit under 10%. Amazon's down. Apple drops in about 15 minutes. Way to go on it right now. Amazon good, but market did not improve. Amazon was good-ish. They had better than expected EPS, bad revenue, and good guidance. So they were good-ish. They weren't perfect. They missed revenue, which is probably a little bit more important than EPS, although guidance is better than all of it. So, they were okay. Also, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, chat. We appreciate it. Yeah. We'll see what today brings us, to be honest. All right, so the Apple already closed at 5 p.m. What do you guys think, chat? We got 13 minutes left until this drops. Major earnings. Again, the market is underwhelmed from the earnings report today. We had Roku reports 968 million. DoorDash posted a 38-cent loss per share. They expected a 9-cent loss. Revenue of 2.63 billion. Square just reported 93-cent profit per share on revenue of 6.16 billion. So they expected 85-cent profit per share. So Cash App, Square, right here, is having one of the positive tech reactions. Is back up to 62. MCHP Microchip Tech posted 53 profit versus 52 expected. Revenue of 1.24. They expected 1.24, basically flat. Roku posted a revenue beat. So I'm wondering if Roku is up. And again, Square block is right here. So again, there's block. Block at 93-cent profit versus 85 cents expected. Revenue at 6.16. Again, Coinbase is up there to 217s. MicroStrategy posted 267. Wait, I can't tell if this is right. So MicroStrategy, it says it posted. Moderna was this morning. It says MicroStrategy posted 762 EPS versus 11-cent loss expected. Revenue of 111.4 million. Is that right? That can't be right. If so, MicroStrategy should be flying up. Square up. Coin up. Yet MicroStrategy is still down big and hasn't moved. This can't be right. I know MicroStrategy doesn't really move during the earnings season, after our session, but still, it can't be right. Yeah, MicroStrategy just holds a large portion of Bitcoin holdings. Again, we got 10 minutes left, chat. 10 minutes left. Apple earnings are supposed to drop at 4:30. They're just late, right? So they're not late. I think they're scheduled for 4:30. Roku streaming said to upgrade my TV to use their service. Coin out. Yeah, Coinbase is out. Coinbase posted. Coinbase posted 14-cent profit, sales of 1.449. They expected 1.39. Better than expected. Yeah, Coinbase posted better than expected EPS, better than expected revenue. They're up a little bit. They're up to 220s. Look at Square. The Square's up. Again, here's Coinbase right here. This is really a market crash. I think the market just fears rate cuts, and we learned that we're probably getting rate cuts in September. Square is up pretty big to 64s. Coin up to 217s. Yeah, Apple drops in about 10 minutes. Why is rate cut a negative thing? Twilio just reported they posted 87-cent EPS versus 70-cent expected revenue of 1.08. They expected 1.06, better than expected everywhere. DraftKings just posted revenue of 1.1 billion. They expected 1.11 billion. Square's still pushing up. So again, we're gonna put all this up in chat. DraftKings is right here. Amazon Amazon beat EPS, so margins were better than expected. Revenue was lower than expected, and guidance was slightly higher than expected. So a lot of flat, movement for it, but yeah, that's what it is. Again, slightly higher, slightly lower in some areas, but the good one is guidance, and that was better than expected. Revenue is typically a little bit more important than EPS, because it shows future potential over what their previous margins were, right? So a higher revenue company can have potentially better margins. But yeah, the rate cut in September is usually a bad month for stocks. Rate cut with high inflation indicates, it could mean stagflation, which is high inflation, but also high unemployment. But I hope I say Apple is flying too. Coinbase, better than expected revenue. Yeah, so honestly, like a lot of softwares are down after the CrowdStrike thing. Like a lot. You'd be surprised at how much stuff is down from this. There's Motorola, MSI. Microchip tech. Okay, yeah, there's definitely some type of glitch here going on. Like, with my usual source is like posting a bunch of weird stuff, dude. Definitely some weird stuff going on. Alright, guys, Apple sued here, chat. Apple sued. Yeah, dude, even like earnings whisper is down. So like it's a weird freaking. You ready to short the NASDAQ? I don't know, dude. Yeah. What sucks is that AMD is increasingly take away lion's share from Intel. If Apple takes the markets, my puts gain. Hey, good luck, dude. I hope you're wrong. Roku will save the market. Roku's not heavily weighted enough to influence the market in any significant way. Roku's a pretty small company. It's worth less than $60 a share. Market cap's relatively small versus most other tech stocks. Apple beats 99% of the time to the record after record buybacks. Yeah, and that's a smart move as a business. All right, guys, we got about 5 minutes. Watch Apple closely here. All right, here we go. I'm gonna Square, one of the stocks that's actually pushing things up. So I'm here. Look at Square. Yeah, Square's up big, which is Cash App. Again, Apple just tested lows of the day, though. Amazon's still pulling back some, so we're still getting what I would say is negative reactions to earnings season. Nothing's too like crazy, but we're definitely getting negative responses. Apple's still breaking down to 216s. We got 5 minutes, chat. All right, guys, so we're starting to bounce up. Square up to 65s. Amazon testing lows of the day. Again, 4 minutes, chat, 4 minutes. The timer is pretty much accurate. A little bit early, but still pretty much accurate. DoorDash up a lot. DraftKings earnings are out. Yeah, so DraftKings posted... I don't know. I gotta look up a different source because my DraftKings... let me see. DraftKings raised guidance to 5.25. Previously thought 5, so better than expected guidance. Monthly unique payers is at 3.1 mil. They are down a little bit. They did increase guidance to 4.25 versus previous of 5, or 5.25 versus previous of 5. They posted 22-cent profit beat, 1-cent loss estimate. Sales missed though, but better than expected revenue. So I think DraftKings, like, I think overall this is probably a W earnings report for DraftKings. They're down a little bit, but they basically retraced that whole gap down. Because again, I thought the earnings report was pretty solid. You know, good guidance, missed revenue, good EPS, profitable quarter versus an expected loss is always good. 3 minutes, chat, until Aapl reports. 3 minutes. Be ready here, guys. 3 minutes. Yep. Here we go. Three minutes, chat. Again, we'll cover them as soon as they drop. You'll also be able to see the market reaction, and we'll also stream the full earnings call live on the stream. So, yeah. I'm going to put full earnings call streamed live. All right, guys, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Yeah, this is like the final boss of the earnings season this year. Nvidia, actually, let me clarify. Nvidia is the final boss for sure. 2 minutes, chat. Even if they beat but have weak forward guidance, there's a chance it will tank. Yeah, I mean, Rocky, guidance is much more important than historical numbers, right? They could have good EPS, good revenue, and have bad guidance and most likely fall down. They could also have, you know, bad revenue, bad EPS, and then good guidance and still move up, i.e. Amazon. Amazon missed in revenue. I don't know. Amazon actually is down a little bit, so maybe that's not the best example. All right, guys, we got about a minute and a half left before this drops. About a minute and a half left. So be ready. About a minute and a half left. One minute, chat. This is the final countdown. I know you're all waiting for that. 40 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream, guys. This is one of the biggest earnings report of the season. We got 1,200 people live watching. Again, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell. We will stream the full earnings call in 30 minutes afterwards. We will stream the entire thing. And, yeah. 25 seconds, guys. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up. You can also put it in fast forward mode, and it'll make sure you're always live. 20 seconds. 20 seconds. I'm just going to put these two charts up for now. I'm going to make Appl's chart really big so we can watch it. Here's Aapl. The timer's a little bit early. Here we go. 10 seconds. Chat, 10 seconds. And there it goes. So Aapl is out. Up to 218s, chat. 218s. Waiting. Flying up. 220s for Aapl. Almost green on the day for Aapl here, guys. Almost green on the day. Now we're tracing all the way back down. Aapl posted third quarter results. They posted Revenue of $85.8 billion, up 5% year over year. Quarterly earnings at $1.40 a share. If you look at what they expected here, guys, they expected $1.34. They showed $1.40 a share, better than expected, up 11% year over year. They posted revenue of $85.8 billion. They expected $83.8 billion, so better than expected revenue as well. We'll put these numbers up on screen. But Apple is up. iPhone sales showed up at $39.296 billion. So again, I'm going to put these numbers up on screen, and then we'll go over all the different segments, watch the price action here. But Apple is green, so far at least. Oh, that's a big red candle. So yeah, again, the full call will be streamed live right here, so stick around. But Apple still green. iPhone sales, we're going to put these numbers up in chat. iPad sales came in at $7.16 billion versus $6.84 prior. 2024 iPhone sales for quarter 3 came in at $39.29 billion versus $39.6 billion expected or prior, so a little bit lower iPhone sales. Apple is still up big. All right, so again, we're covering the Apple numbers. Look at Apple Fly. Mac sales showed up way higher than expected at $7.09 billion versus $6.84 billion. Look at Apple Go. Wow. Apple's up a lot. Again, I'm going to go ahead and read this here. So Apple said, quote, today Apple is reporting a new June quarter record revenue at $85.8 billion, up 5% from a year ago, said Tim Cook, Apple CEO. Quote, during the quarter, we excited to announce incredible updates to our software at our worldwide developer conference, including Apple Intelligence, a breakthrough personal intelligence system that puts powerful private generative AI models at the core of iPhone, iPad, and Mac. We very much look forward to sharing these tools with our users and continue to invest significantly in the innovations that will enrich our customers' lives while leading the values that drive our work. During the quarter, our record business's performance generated EPS growth of 11%, nearly $29 billion in operating cash flow, allowing us to return $32 billion to shareholders. We are also very pleased that our installed base of active devices reached a new time high in geographic segments thanks to high levels of customer satisfaction. America's net sales did come out higher than expected at $37.67 billion versus $35.38 billion prior. Greater China net sales came in at $14.728 billion. Versus $15.75 billion expected. Wearables came in at $8.09 billion, as well as home and accessories versus $8.28, so lower than expected wearables. Quarter 3 iPad sales did show higher than expected at $7.16 versus $5.79, so way better than expected iPad sales. Services revenue came in at $24.21 billion versus $21.21 billion expected, so neutral quarter 3 services revenue, but better than expected Mac. Better than expected iPad, worse than expected wearables. So like smartwatches are down a little bit, but iPad, Mac sales are both up. American net sales were much higher than expected as well, although sales overseas in China were lower than expected. Services revenue again flat for quarter 3, and yeah, massive. So yeah, I mean, Apple beat everywhere. Their guidance is something we're waiting to see, but they beat everywhere. EPS margin wise, as well as revenue. Again, 140 versus 135 revenue of 85.78 versus 84.53 expected. All right, again, Apple's quarter 3 iPhone sales came in at 39.3, expected 38.7. Mac sales 7 versus 7.08. Yeah, definitely market's a little weak. Again, we're going to stream the full earnings call live on the stream, as we always do. Apple earnings just flat. Yeah, I mean, they needed a bounce back, and we got one. It wasn't the bounce back people wanted, but it was a bounce back, and we're still early after the report. Maybe they'll say something good during the call that'll make people more optimistic. DraftKings also came all the way back. Amazon's still down, though. Mira's down big. Mira finally reported. What about Amazon? Are you able to tell us the details? Yeah, we already got the Amazon coverage here. So Amazon posted a beat on EPS, a miss on revenue, a slight miss on revenue, but a pretty decent beat on EPS, slight miss on revenue, and slightly better than expected guidance for Amazon. So Amazon posted 126 EPS versus 103 expected, revenue of 148 versus 148.5 expected. So slight miss on revenue, beat on EPS, slightly better guidance than expected is Amazon's results, and Amazon's slightly down from it. Apple is now testing 218s, trying to break, wants to break, but it's still kind of testing 218s. So we'll see if we can get anything here. All right, guys, you guys ready? Whew. Yeah, a lot of stuff post-Powell are down big. I'm still looking at other stuff, but again, Apple 140 versus 135, revenue of 85.78 versus 84, so better than expected everywhere. Still waiting on the rest of the data to show up, but America's net sales came in at 37.7 versus 35.8. Europe sales came in at 21.9 billion versus 21.4, so better than expected in Europe, better than expected in America, worse than expected in China. The only things that were really down significantly were wearables, home, and accessories came in at 8.09 billion versus 8.28 billion prior. So decrease there, but that might be seasonality from the summer and everybody being busy right now. But yeah, that's what we're seeing right now. DraftKings all the way back up to $37 a share here, though. So DraftKings is getting a little bit more strength. Doing a little bit better here. Apple's up 0.5%. All right, guys. The earnings call is still in about 20 minutes. We'll see how that goes. I'm ready for it. I hope the earnings call comes in good, but we'll have to wait and see. Apple flushing. I mean, Apple's green from its earnings call for sure. Apple's definitely green from its earnings call. Now, whether it holds green is a completely different tale, but it's definitely green from its earnings call. Meta had a grade A statement. Look at the price. Meta has some value. I think Meta's PE ratio is pretty cheap. I think it's like 35, though. It's not the best it could ever be. But their earnings were pretty good. This is mostly seasonality, or this is mostly like broad market influence on Meta, I think, personally. Intel's down huge. INTC down very big, down to $24. Wow. I'm glad I sold. I sold up there closer to 30. And in hindsight, I'm very glad I did. I used to get excited for earnings, but not anymore. It's the middle of summer, man. Stock market volume is down, AMD's definitely down. Is it advisable to trade the NASDAQ 100 right now? I don't know. Do you think the SPY will go back up since Apple had great earnings? I hope so. I don't think so, but I hope so. I can have some hope in there. Might buy up a little bit of some other stuff, but I have some hope. Yeah, we just bought up a little bit. I added some to Meta. I bought some Meta. We'll play with it. We'll see what happens. Larry filling out his well, market makers don't want you to win. Yeah, I mean, again, this whole thing is pretty nuanced, to be honest. Like, right now, we had the Fed meeting yesterday. What the Fed meeting showed us is that it's very probable that we're going to cut rates next month in September. It's very probable that we're going to cut in September. And so I think the market's fearing that, scared of that. Like, the Powell hangover is real, you know? And I think that's what we're currently experiencing right now. It's just kind of like a Powell hangover almost. Yeah, now we got the Apple earnings call coming out soon. So the earnings call is about to start for Apple as well. So we'll see if they say anything good. We got 19 minutes. I'll put a timer up. We'll cover it. But yeah, we got 19 minutes, 18 minutes. Yeah, until the call. We'll cover the whole thing like we always do. Chat. Yeah, a lot of people. What were you expecting? So, did Apple show up as expected for you all? I don't know, man. And you know, the other big earnings report we have is tomorrow. We have AMC earnings, guys. I'm trying to see if I even covered AMC earnings last time. Y'all do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. Do it now. Try it one time. It might feel good. If you hit the subscribe button again, it might feel good. Do it now. If you haven't already, I appreciate the love. We definitely have less interest. My guess here is why we have less stock market interest right now. Election year. I think everybody's waiting. Everybody's a little hungover from the Fed meeting yesterday. That's probably why we're markets dropping like this. Apple, Amazon, you know, I'm not saying to buy them, but maybe we got some value here. Again, AMC's earnings call is tomorrow after the closing bell on a freaking Friday, which is very strange and odd. You know, I'm trying to think of the last time AMC did an actual earnings call. I guess they did one in May. Yeah. So I guess AMC did one in May. But again, I'm curious to see what happens. They're doing this on a Friday. So AMC earnings call in after hours on a Friday. I can't imagine a slower period of time to hold an earnings call for interest, right? Everybody's out partying on Friday, bro. It's like nobody's at home. You know, listen, the ape community is different, though. So they're, you know, in that regard, like maybe they will have some people there. I'll stream it if you guys want me to stream it. I'm in AMC as well. I wanted to go up. Let me know if you guys want me to, you know. AMC did a preview of their earnings last week. Yeah, they did do a preview. Apple red. Yeah, Apple's green, but it's close to red. So the candle at which earnings came out was right here, basically, which opened up at 216.50. So the candle opened up right here. So here's the previous close. Like if you want to know red to green level from Apple earnings, this is it right here. Right. So again, if you want to know red to green, this is it, right? 216.54 is right here. Is red to green. This is red to green from earnings. And so yeah, that is where earnings came out right here. This big line. So All right, Apple's still moving back up, though. Apple earnings were pretty good. I'm trying to see what Apple's PE ratio is. Let me see. Why is Apple almost right if it did better than all estimates? I mean, nobody knows. Sorry. All right, guys, we got the call coming out soon. Y'all be ready. Let me end the poll. I know we got a poll going on. Thank you for the donations. I appreciate it. You know, I thought they used to tell me that there was a way I could give away memberships. I don't want to pay for all this. I thought it's supposed to give me free memberships. I guess it hasn't given me that opportunity yet. It's not letting me do it. There's a way for me to do it, but it's not letting me. All right, Amazon back up to 176, chat. Amazon all the way back up to 176. Let's see if it holds. I will be right back, guys. Listen, if it takes me longer than 30 seconds to go do what I'm trying to do, you all can call me dummy all day for the rest of the day. Okay. Again, if it takes longer than 30 seconds to do what I'm doing, you can call me dummy. I'm going to start it at 13 seconds. All right, 13 seconds. All right. All right. All right, I'm back. Sorry, guys. You ain't calling me dummy today. All right. All right. Man, I got too many of these. Apple still at 218s, hasn't really done much. What do you guys think we get today? Nah, dude, I got it way better than I was back in like 20 seconds, guys. You guys know. I was looking at the timer. The timer was at 12. Or no, it was at 13. I got back at like 12:37. So I got back in 23 seconds. All right. So listen. Y'all can call me dummy, but it's not valid. All right. Just know you're not right. Yeah, Apple's sitting exactly at the 200 EMA. Like exactly. The Apple call is at 5 o'clock and 11 minutes. Hey.
Okay, did you pick up a package from the gate today?
Hey, you're on my stream right now. Yes, it's in the SUV. But hey, you're on my stream right now. I need you to go grab me a charger, the old charger, not the USB-C.
A brick?
No, not a brick. I need the plug. You know the plug that used to charge everything before the new USB-C plugs? Like the smaller one with like, it was a little bit more angled and smaller. Chat, what am I talking about? What kind of plug am I talking about here?
Not a USB?
It's USB, but it's not a C. It's a something else.
A USB to Apple?
Like a
no.
USB
to like
old Samsung.
Old
Samsung. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Hang on.
USB A. is what they're talking about. Micro USB might be it. I think it's a micro USB actually. But yeah, I need one of them. Alright. Thank you. Love you. Thank you.
Alright, love you. Bye.
Alright. Again, Apple up to 219, Chad. So Apple's trying to bounce back. Alright. Amazon's all the way back up. Look at Amazon. It's at 177. Apple's coming back here. Will this resurge the market? The market needs it, to be honest. The market needs it. Yeah, wife coming in with the help. Again, Apple testing the volume weighted average price right at 220. Starting to move a little bit. We got 9 seconds. Or 9 minutes, guys, until the earnings call. 9 seconds. Oh. Is that it? Okay, that is it. Thank you, baby. I appreciate it. Alright, love you. Thank you. Alright, that is it. It was one of these. Amazon coming all the way back here. I would buy Amazon. Amazon's PE ratio is like 50. You know, it's one of these. These little guys right here. Is that a micro USB? I know it's kind of blurry. This little guy right here. Alright. We gotta make sure my headphones are charged for Apple earnings. It's weird how Amazon doesn't make more money. Well, Amazon's very smart, and they're smart for a few reasons. The main one is that they use their money and they invest it in expansion, and that's what you got to do to stay on top. Amazon is widely used by everybody. Everybody in the world, or everybody in the nationwide, uses Amazon, with only very, very few exceptions. They put a Rockefellerian thing where they basically created their own version of UPS, started doing it for cheaper and simply way more efficient than anybody else, and they had mail order shipping get much better. Right now, you buy something, you can get it same day, you can get it next day, and if you don't, you're pretty unhappy about it. I know I am. And so Amazon has done really, really well in that regard, and they're going to be fine as a company. Now, maybe they grow, maybe they don't, maybe their margins get better or worse, but when you look at like Amazon's revenue here, their revenue looks amazing. You know, it's not always perfect, but this is the sign of a healthy company, of course. Look at their trailing 12-month revenue. That's a beautiful trend. So again, Amazon is one of the healthiest companies in the world. Betting against them is silly, I think. Apple back up to 220s. The question right now here, guys, did I end my poll? I didn't. All right, the question right now, chat, is very simple. Is it time to buy the dip? That's my question for you all. Let me know what you guys think. I think the majority of viewers are crypto traders like me praying for bounces. Wrong. They're most of my viewers are economic people and day traders and stock traders. Right? Like we got some futures traders, we got some stock traders, we got some day traders in general, and then we got some economists like me. I do a little bit of everything, but yeah. Mostly stock market watchers, I would say. 59%. We got 130 votes in about 20 seconds. 60% say yes, it's time to buy the freaking dip. 40% say no. What do you guys think? Is it time to buy the freaking dip? I don't know, man. I really don't know. I think there's risks, but I think it depends on how long you're willing to hold it. I think if you're willing to hold long term, you're probably going to be fine. With that said, though, this is coming from somebody who may be terrible at this stuff, and I also might not have any idea what I'm talking about and may be wildly wrong about anything I say. It's entertainment purposes only. My experiences, wins or losses may be conducted off stream. I might trade without you guys, and I'm not going to tell you about it, and you're going to just deal with it. Do not copy me. I'm not even claiming to be a good trader. All that good stuff. Don't sue me, okay? I like Google as a company. Tomorrow is non-farm payroll data, which is major report, huge report. Non-farm payrolls is one of the biggest monthly reports we get. I would say the three biggest monthly reports that we get on a regular basis are CPI, non-farm payrolls, and unemployment. And I would, if you want to call FOMC meetings, we have something. We either have the Fed minutes or the FOMC report once a month at least. It's every 6 weeks for the Fed meeting. But, you know, again, I would go with like CPI, maybe PPI or PCE, and non-farm payroll data. And that's tomorrow. So non-farm payroll data does have the chance to rebound all of this. If payrolls, I don't know what the market wants. I'm assuming the market wants economic strength because that means less need to cut rates. But the problem is that also means more inflation problems, right? So it's really iffy what the market wants right now. And the market is kind of up in the air about what it wants to happen. Amazon's CFO says they see continued rising in capex in the second half, with capex rise tied mostly to AI. Microchip Tech also came out. Again, we're going to get ready to stream. So we will stream the full call for Apple. It's at 5 p.m. Alright, so we're still waiting here. We're going to stream the whole thing live, guys, so just be ready. Is this a spammer? Jasmine? What? Dude, you're like the first spammer bot that I've seen in weeks since the CrowdStrike report. I'm not going to say I missed the spam bots, but you're like the first one, dude. Good day to you, sir. Have a great day. You're banned for life, but, you know. Welcome back, I guess. Fed wants less inflation. Oil looks bullish to me. Oil has been pushing up on the geographic problem, or the conflicts, the geopolitical conflicts, and the news surrounding those conflicts, right? Like that, a lot of stuff like that has been coming out over the last day. Oil, prior to all this, at least to today's bloody red day, has been spiking. You know, so oil's been doing okay outside of today with all this stuff, but it's still actually green since, you know, the 30th. So it's been green for the last few days. Still green technically overall over the last 3 days as well for oil. Booking. So yeah, we got 2 minutes though, so I'll be quick. Booking. Here's bookings numbers. I'm not going to review them. We don't really have time, and I don't really know Booking as a company like that. But here's the numbers in chat right now. I'll put them in chat. There you go. Hawk 2.0 on the spammer. Apple didn't post guidance yet. So they did declare a divvy, though. A pullback at Amazon is a buying op, according to Wedbush's Scott Devitt. Japan sales came in lower than expected. iPhone revenue came in higher than expected. All right, here, guys. I'm gonna switch headphones. Sorry to interrupt the duck song. Okay. All right. Earnings call's about to start right now. Y'all be ready. Alright, I'm gonna mute the music though so you guys can't hear it. And then, yeah. I got my music in the background. Alright guys, if you haven't already, check out Apex. Apex is a funded account program in futures, so they give you a demo in futures. If you pass the test, they fund you. If you fail, you only lose. The base one is only $30. If you pass it, you get a 25K in funding with 90% split. If you fail it, you're out $30. It's not the end of the world. It's the best of both worlds. It's similar to putting the money up yourself once you're funded, but if you lose, it's not the end of the world. They are a sponsor of mine, though. They pay me money. I'm biased because they pay me money. But if you want to check them out, here's my coupon coded link. You can use coupon code BT. All right, guys, here we go. It's about to start right now. I'm going to turn the music off. Yeah, it's $30 a month. If you want the max discount, use PT. All right, so we're still waiting here. We're live. Waiting for it to start right now. All right, guys. So we're still waiting for them to start their late starting here, but we're on there. We're here. We're waiting.
Apple Q3 Fiscal Year 2024 Earnings Conference Call.
How's the sound?
My name is Suhasini Chandramouli, Director of Investor Relations. Today's call is being recorded. Speaking first today is Apple CEO Tim Cook, and he'll be followed by CFO Luca Maestri. After that, we'll open the call to questions from analysts. Please note that some of the information you'll hear during our discussion today will consist of forward-looking statements, including, without limitation, those regarding revenue, gross margin, operating expenses, other income and expense, taxes, capital allocation, and future business outlook, including the potential impact of macroeconomic conditions on the company's business and results of operations. These statements involve risks and uncertainties that may cause actual results or trends to differ materially from our forecast. For more information, please refer to the risk factors discussed in Apple's most recently filed annual report on Form 10-K and the Form 8-K filed with the SEC today, along with the associated press release. Apple assumes no obligation to update any forward-looking statements, which speak only as of the date they are made. I'd now like to turn the call over to Tim for introductory remarks.
Thank you, Suhasini. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining the call. Today, Apple is reporting a new June quarter revenue record of $85.8 billion, up 5% from a year ago and better than we had expected. EPS grew double digits to $1.40 and achieved a record for the June quarter. We also set quarterly revenue records in more than 24 countries and regions, including Canada, Mexico, France, Germany, the UK, India, Indonesia, the Philippines, and Thailand. And we set an all-time revenue record in services, which grew 14%. At our Worldwide Developers Conference, we were thrilled to unveil game-changing updates across our platforms, including Apple Intelligence. Apple Intelligence builds on years of innovation and investment in AI and machine learning. It will transform how users interact with technology, from writing tools to help you express yourself, to Image Playground, which gives you the ability to create fun images and communicate in new ways, to powerful tools for summarizing and prioritizing notifications. Siri also becomes more natural, more useful, and more personal than ever. Apple Intelligence is built on a foundation of privacy, both through on-device processing that does not collect users' data and through private cloud compute, a groundbreaking new approach to using the cloud while protecting users' information, powered by Apple Silicon. We are also integrating ChatGPT into experiences within iPhone, Mac, and iPad, enabling users to draw on a broad base of world knowledge. We are very excited about Apple Intelligence, and we remain incredibly optimistic about the extraordinary possibilities of AI and its ability to enrich customers' lives. We will continue to make significant investments in this technology and dedicate ourselves to the innovation that will unlock its full potential. Recently, we've also been excited to bring Apple Vision Pro to more countries, giving customers the chance to discover the remarkable capabilities of this magical device. Vision Pro users are customizing their own workspaces, watching movies on 100-foot screens, and exploring entire worlds with just a pinch of their fingertips. With more than 2,500 native spatial apps and 1.5 million compatible apps for Vision OS, the developer community continues to pioneer stunning spatial experiences that are only possible with Vision Pro. Last month, we announced that we're bringing some amazing new immersive content to Vision Pro, including new series, concerts, films, and more. And we've seen great interest for Vision Pro in the enterprise, where it can empower companies large and small to pursue their best ideas like never before. With each innovation, we're unlocking new ways of working, new ways of learning, and new ways of tapping into the unlimited promise of human potential. We're doing that across every product and every service. Now let me share more detail on our June quarter results, beginning with iPhone. iPhone revenue was $39.3 billion, down 1% year over year. On a constant currency basis, we grew compared to last year. Customers continue to praise the iPhone 15 lineup for its incredible battery life, exceptional cameras, and unmatched power and performance. And we are excited to bring incredible new features to the iPhone with iOS 18, making it more personal, capable, and intelligent than ever before. This update includes the biggest redesign of the Photos app, new customization options for the home screen, messages over satellite, and the introduction of Apple Intelligence. Apple Intelligence utilizes the power of our most advanced iPhones, the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max, offering a transformative set of capabilities. Mac revenue was $7 billion, up 2% from a year ago. Customers are loving the latest M3-powered 13 and 15-inch MacBook Air. With back-to-school season upon us, MacBook Air is the perfect companion for students on campus. And small business owners, developers, and creatives of all kinds depend on Mac to do more than they ever could before. Powered by Apple Silicon with its neural engine and privacy built in at the chip level, Macs are simply the best personal computers for AI. And every Mac we've shipped with Apple Silicon since 2020 is capable of taking advantage of Apple Intelligence with macOS Sequoia. We also know the importance of security for our users and enterprises, so we continue to advance protections across our products. Turning to iPad, revenue was $7.2 billion, 24% higher year over year. During the quarter, we had an incredible launch where we unveiled the all-new 11 and 13-inch iPad Air, the perfect device for education, entertainment, and so much more. And with the new iPad Pro, we pushed the boundaries of power-efficient performance with the remarkable M4 chip, the engine behind this incredibly thin device. By leveraging the latest in Apple Silicon, video editors and musicians can take advantage of the cutting-edge AI features in Final Cut Pro and Logic Pro. And we're very excited that iPad Pro and iPad Air models powered by the M series of Apple Silicon will be able to utilize the powerful capabilities of Apple Intelligence. In wearables, home, and accessories, revenue was $8.1 billion, down 2% from a year ago. Apple Watch is empowering users to live a healthier day with a range of tools to take charge of their wellness journeys. At the core of Apple Watch are powerful AI features that are helping users get help when they need it most, from irregular heart rhythm notifications to walking steadiness to crash detection and fall detection. I've heard time and again how meaningful these features are for users and their loved ones, and their stories motivate us to keep pushing forward on this vital work. As I mentioned earlier, in services, we set an all-time revenue record of $24.2 billion, with paid subscriptions climbing to an all-time high. We achieved revenue records in the majority of the services categories, with all-time revenue records in advertising, cloud, and payment services. Apple TV Plus productions are delighting audiences on screens large and small. We're sharing powerful works of imagination with series and movies like Presumed Innocent, the upcoming Disclaimer, and The Instigator starring Matt Damon. And we can't wait for returning fan favorites with new seasons of The Morning Show, Slow Horses, and Severance. Apple TV Plus productions also continue to earn accolades with nearly 2,300 nominations and 500 wins to date. That includes 72 Emmy Award nominations across 16 programs, our best ever showing for the upcoming awards event. During the quarter, we also expanded Tap to Pay on iPhone to more markets, including Japan, Canada, Italy, and Germany, enabling more businesses to use the power of iPhone to accept contactless payments. And we announced new updates to our services coming this fall, including U.S. National Park hikes and custom walk routes and Apple Maps, the ability to pay with rewards using Apple Pay, collaborative listening with Apple Music, and a redesigned Apple Fitness Plus experience to help users make the most of our library of workouts and meditations. Turning to retail, we continue to expand in emerging markets with our first ever location in Malaysia. Customers from all over the country came together with our team members to celebrate this special moment. Elsewhere in the world, our teams have been sharing the magic of Apple Vision Pro in demos that delight, inspire, and deeply move customers exploring the wonders of spatial computing for the first time. At the heart of all of our innovations are the values that guide everything we do. We believe fundamentally that the best technology is technology that works for everyone. And in honor of Global Accessibility Awareness Day, we introduced all new capabilities to give users more ways to take advantage of all our products can do. These include eye tracking for users to control iPhone or iPad visually, music haptics to give those who are deaf or hard of hearing a tangible way to experience music, and vocal shortcuts that tie tasks to a user's voice. And we are committed as ever to shipping products that offer the highest standards of privacy for our users. With everything we do, whether it's offering a browser like Safari that prevents third parties from tracking you across the internet, or providing new features like the ability to lock and hide apps, we are determined to keep our users in control of their own data. And we are just as dedicated to ensuring the security of our users' data. That's why we work to minimize the amount of data we collect and work to maximize how much is processed directly on people's devices, a foundational principle that is at the core of all we build, including Apple Intelligence. And we continue to make significant progress on the environment. We are proud to say that all of our data centers, including those that will run private cloud compute, operate on 100% renewable energy. At Apple, we're constantly accelerating our pace of innovation. We are a company in relentless pursuit of big ideas. Time and again, we've seen how a spark of creativity can reach breakthrough velocity, reach across previously unexplored dimensions, and ultimately take flight in ways that can change the world. It's why we're going to keep investing in the meaningful innovation that enriches the lives of all of our customers. We have a busy time ahead of us, and I couldn't be more excited for all the amazing things yet to come. With that, I'll turn it over to Luca.
Thank you, Tim, and good afternoon, everyone. We're very pleased to report a new June quarter revenue record of $85.8 billion, up 5% year over year, despite 230 basis points of negative foreign exchange impact. We achieved growth in the vast majority of our markets, with June quarter revenue records in the Americas, Europe, and rest of Asia Pacific. Products revenue was $61.6 billion, up 2% year over year, driven by the launch of the new iPad Pro and iPad Air. Our installed base of active devices reached an all-time high across all products and geographic segments, thanks to our unmatched levels of customer satisfaction and loyalty, and a large number of customers who are new to our products. Services revenue reached an all-time record of $24.2 billion, up 14% year over year, with an all-time record in developed markets and a June quarter record in emerging markets. Company gross margin was 46.3%, near the high end of our guidance range, and down 30 basis points sequentially, driven by a different mix within products, which was partially offset by a favorable mix shift towards services and cost savings. Products gross margin was 35.3%, down 130 basis points sequentially, primarily driven by mix, partially offset by favorable costs. Services gross margin was 74%, down 60 basis points from last quarter. Operating expenses of $14.3 billion were at the low end of the guidance range we provided and up 7% year-over-year. Net income was $21.4 billion. Diluted EPS of $1.40 was up 11% year-over-year and set a June quarter record. And operating cash flow was very strong at $28.9 billion, also a June quarter record. Let me get into more detail for each of our revenue categories. iPhone revenue was $39.3 billion, down 1% year-over-year, but grew on a constant currency basis. We set June quarter records across several countries, including the UK, Spain, Poland, Mexico, Indonesia, and the Philippines. And the iPhone active installed base grew to a new all-time high in total and in every geographic segment. During the June quarter, many iPhone models were among the top-selling smartphones around the world. In fact, according to a survey from Kantar, iPhone was the top-selling model in the US, urban China, the UK, Germany, Australia, and Japan. Customer satisfaction on the iPhone 15 family continues to be extremely high, with 451 Research measuring it at 98% in the US in their latest reports. Mac generated $7 billion in revenue, up 2% year-over-year, driven by the MacBook Air powered by the M3 chip. We saw particularly strong performance in our emerging markets, with June quarter records for Mac in Latin America, India, and South Asia. The Mac installed base reached an all-time high, with half of MacBook Air customers in the quarter being new to Mac. And customer satisfaction for Mac was recently reported at 96% in the US. iPad revenue was $7.2 billion, up 24% year-over-year, driven by the launch of the new iPad Pro and iPad Air. Customers are loving the latest iPad lineup for its new design and display, unparalleled performance, AI capabilities, and much more. The iPad installed base has continued to grow and is at an all-time high, as half of the customers who purchased iPads during the quarter were new to the product. Also, customer satisfaction was recently measured at 97% in the US. Wearables, home, and accessories revenue was $8.1 billion, down 2% year-over-year, a sequential acceleration from the March quarter. Watch and AirPods continue to face a difficult compare against prior year launches of the AirPods Pro second generation, the Watch SE, and the first Watch Ultra. Apple Watch continues to attract new customers, with almost 2/3 of customers purchasing an Apple Watch during the quarter being new to the product, sending the Apple Watch install base to a new all-time high. And the latest reports from 451 Research indicated customer satisfaction of 97% for Watch in the US. In services, total revenue reached an all-time record of $24.2 billion, growing 14% year-over-year. We continue to have great momentum in services as the growth of our installed base of active devices sets a strong foundation for the future expansion of our ecosystem. And we see increased customer engagement with our services offerings. Both transacting accounts and paid accounts reach a new all-time high, with paid accounts growing double digits year-over-year. Also, paid subscriptions showed strong double-digit growth. We have well over 1 billion paid subscriptions across the services on our platform, more than double the number that we had only 4 years ago. And we're constantly focused on improving the breadth and quality of our services, from critically acclaimed new content on Apple TV+, to new games on Apple Arcade, and the many latest features we previewed during WWDC for iCloud, Apple Pay, Apple Cash, Apple Music, and more. Turning to enterprise, we continue to see businesses leveraging our entire suite of products to drive productivity and creativity for their teams and customers. USAA, a leading insurance and financial services company, recently expanded beyond their existing iPhone and iPad deployments to provide their employees with the latest MacBook Air. And American Express has continued to add to their fleet of over 10,000 Macs to enhance their employees' productivity, security, and collaboration. We're also excited to see leading organizations such as Boston Children's Hospital and Lufthansa using Apple Vision Pro to build innovative spatial computing experiences to transform the training of their workforces. Let me now turn to our cash position and capital return program. We ended the quarter with $153 billion in cash and marketable securities. We repaid $4.3 billion in maturing debt and increased commercial paper by $1 billion, leaving us with total debt of $101 billion. As a result, net cash was $52 billion at the end of the quarter. During the quarter, we returned over $32 billion to shareholders, including $3.9 billion in dividends and equivalents and $26 billion through open market repurchases of 139 million Apple shares. As we move ahead into the September quarter, I'd like to review our outlook, which includes the types of forward-looking information that Suhasini referred to at the beginning of the call. The color we're providing today assumes that the macroeconomic outlook doesn't worsen from what we are projecting today for the current quarter. We expect foreign exchange to continue to be a headwind and to have a negative impact on revenue of about 1.5 percentage points on a year-over-year basis. We expect our September quarter total company revenue to grow year-over-year at a rate similar to the June quarter. We expect services revenue to grow double digits at a rate similar to what we reported in the first 3 quarters of this fiscal year. We expect gross margin to be between 45.5% and 46.5%. We expect OPEX to be between $14.2 and $14.4 billion. We expect OI&E to be around negative $50 million, excluding any potential impact from the mark-to-market of minority investments, and our tax rate to be around 16.5%. Finally, today our board of directors has declared a cash dividend of 25 cents per share of common stock payable on August 15, 2024 to shareholders of record as of August 12, 2024. With that, let's open the call to questions.
Thank you, Luca. We ask that you limit yourself to 2 questions. Operator, may we have the first question, please?
Certainly. We will go ahead and take our first question from Eric Woodring with Morgan Stanley. Please go ahead.
Great. Thank you very much for taking my question. Maybe, Tim, if we start with you, I thought some of the color you provided before the call about iPhone 15 performing better than the iPhone 14 was interesting. So just with that context, can you maybe help us understand where you see iPhone replacement cycles today, where you think the size of the base of iPhones that are aged and likely to upgrade are, and what that translates to in potential pent-up demand as we enter a new iPhone cycle? And I have a follow-up. Thank you.
Yes, hi, Eric. The install base hit an all-time high during the quarter, and so we were very happy about that. iPhone in general grew in constant currency, and the 15, as you point out, if you look at the same number of weeks of the 15 from launch and compare that to the 14, the 15 is doing better than the 14. And so that's kind of a state of where we currently are. In terms of upgrade rates, it's very difficult mid-cycle to call upgrade rates. I would just say that with Apple Intelligence, we're very excited and about the level of value that we're going to provide to users. And we believe that presents another reason for a compelling upgrade.
Okay, that's very helpful. Thanks, Tim.
Yeah.
And then second to that, can you maybe dig into the China dynamics a bit? Sales down 6% this quarter, 3% in constant currency. an improvement from last quarter on a tougher compare. That came on the back of some iPhone discounting. So can you maybe just share color on the China market as a whole, how much you believe promotions helped in the quarter, how sustainable this improvement is, and if this performance really changes any of your approach to the China market as we look forward? Thanks so much.
Yeah, Eric, as you point out, we decreased by 6.5% year over year for the whole of Greater China. And if you look at it on a constant currency basis, we declined by less than 3%. So over 50% of the decline year over year is currency related. That is an improvement from the first half of the fiscal year, and so we're happy to see the acceleration. If you look at iPhone in particular for Greater China, the install base set a record. We also, in mainland China, set a June quarter record for upgraders. And so that's a very strong signal. And in fact, from Kantar, the survey from Kantar this quarter showed that iPhones were the top 3 models in urban China. Also, if you look at one of the things we look at is the 15 family compared to the 14 family for the same number of weeks from launch. So this goes all the way back to the September of 23. If you look at that, the 15 is outperforming the 14. And so those are some of the color I would provide. In addition, one of the things that we're very focused on is the level of new customers buying our products. And so if you look at this on the Mac and iPad, in mainland China, the majority of customers are buying for the first time, buying that product for the first time. And the watch, the vast majority of people are buying the product for the first time. And during the quarter, I should say also that iPad returned to growth in Greater China as it did around the world. And so we continue to be confident in the long-term opportunity in China. I don't know how every chapter of the book reads, but we're very confident in the long term.
Great, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eric. Operator, may we have the next question, please?
Our next question is from Ben Reitzes with Melius. Please go ahead.
Hey, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Hey, Tim, now that you've launched or announced Apple Intelligence, do you have any ideas on how it may impact services? Do you feel like it'll accelerate your services business, augment it, and maybe folks will need to buy more storage and some other things? How are you thinking about it as a catalyst for services into next year? And I have a follow-up. Thanks.
We started the rollout of Apple Intelligence this week with developers. So some of the features are out there as of Monday, and we couldn't be more excited about getting them out there. Obviously, this will enable developers to take their apps to the next level. And so we're taking this first step in getting the beta out there, and we can't wait to see what kind of amazing things they do with it.
Okay, thanks. And then Luca, with regard to gross margin, it's been there's been some component price inflation and mix. Do you mind just giving us a little more color on how you're managing that sequentially, and how you feel about the current component environment as an impact on margins? Thanks.
Sure, Ben. I think I'll give you a bit of the walk for the June quarter and then get into the outlook that we provided for the September quarter. At the total company level, we've reported 46.3%. It is down 30 basis points sequentially, and it was really driven by a different mix within products. Of course, we launched a very important product like the iPad during the course of the quarter, but we had an offset from a shift in mix towards services, and we got some good cost savings. And so when you look at it on a year-over-year basis, we are up significantly on the margin front. And keep in mind that foreign exchange continues to be a bit of a headwind for us. As we go into the September quarter, we are guiding 45.5 to 46.5, which is kind of within the guidance that we provided last quarter. Again, similar dynamics. We expect a slightly different mix. We expect foreign exchange to have a minimal impact sequentially, although a more significant impact on a year-over-year basis. On the commodities side, I think that's what you're referring to. Yes, we've seen some increases on the memory front, but the rest of the commodities, we see a continuous decline. So in general, we feel we're well positioned, and as you know well, these are very high levels of gross margin for us, and we're pleased where we are.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Ben. Operator, may we have the next question, please?
Our next question is from Mike Ng with Goldman Sachs. Please go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon. I just have two questions. First, I was wondering if you could talk about whether or not you've seen a shift in demand for iPhone 15 Pro, Pro Max models since WWDC that could potentially foreshadow consumer demand for Apple Intelligence-enabled phones.
We just announced the sort of the requirements at the system and the silicon level in June, and so we had very limited time during the quarter. So it's really too early to tell.
That's fair. And then, with the focus on upgrader potential over the next several years, I was just wondering if you could talk about what you're expecting from the U.S. promotional environment from your channel partners, whether that's U.S. wireless carriers, given the importance of device sales for those partners during an upgrade cycle, or any retail support on what could be a very strong smartphone upgrade period. Thank you.
We are very excited about Apple Intelligence and what it brings, and it's another compelling reason for an upgrade. I'd leave the promotional question for the carriers themselves to answer, but I believe it will be a very key time and a compelling upgrade cycle.
Great. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike. Operator, can we have the next question, please?
Our next question is from Amit Daryanani with Evercore. Please go ahead.
Yep. Good afternoon, everyone, and to as well. I guess, Tim, maybe back to the Apple Intelligence dynamic. There's clearly a lot of excitement from consumers around what Apple Intelligence could mean to them. Can you just touch on, do you think the intent is to launch all the Apple Intelligence features at the same time to consumers, or do you think they end up getting staggered a bit? And if they are staggered, do you think it impacts how consumers come out and buy the next generation iPhone?
The rollout, as we mentioned in June, we've actually started with developers this week. We started with some features of Apple Intelligence, not the complete suite. There are other features like languages beyond US English that will happen over the course of the year. And there are other features that will happen over the course of the year. And ChatGPT is integrated by the end of the calendar year. And so, yes, so it is a staggered launch.
Got it. And then, I guess, your services growth rates have been extremely impressive for several quarters, and it seems like it's accelerated recently. Can you just talk about, when you look at this double-digit growth, how much of that do you think is coming from the install base growth versus, better ARPU or better monetization of the install base? And, how do you kind of see that mix changing as you go forward?
Yes, it's Luca. It's a combination of a number of factors. The install base growth is very important, of course, because we have a larger pool of customers that uses the ecosystem and uses our services. We are seeing, and we've seen this consistently for many, many quarters now, we see continued growth in the level of engagement that our customers have with our ecosystem. We have more transacting accounts every quarter, so more people using the ecosystem, both the free elements of the ecosystem and the paid elements. We see paid accounts growing double digits, and we've seen that for many, many quarters now. We look at our paid subscriptions on our platform, and they're growing strong double digits as well. So obviously, the growing level of engagement helps us, both from an ARPU standpoint and just a volume standpoint. Obviously, as you've seen over the last several years, we launched new services over time, and we've launched many new services fairly recently. Obviously, our payments business is relatively new. Apple TV Plus, Apple Arcade, Fitness Plus, so many other services we've added. And so we're providing more and more opportunities for our customers to interact with the ecosystem. And we believe we're doing also a very good job at improving the quality of these services and improving the amount of content that we make available. We continue to make significant investments on TV Plus, on Apple Arcade. We're launching in new shows, new games all the time. And I think you will continue to see that as we go forward. We're very, very happy with the 14% growth that we had this quarter, because particularly if you look at the performance that we had in services a year ago, the compares for us tend to get a bit more challenging in the second half of our fiscal year. But in spite of that, we delivered a level of growth that was better than what we were expecting at the beginning of the quarter.
Thanks, Amit. Operator, we'll take the next question, please.
Our next question is from Wamsi Mohan with Bank of America. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much. Tim, you announced Apple Intelligence, but you also announced partnerships with OpenAI and presumably more coming down the road. How should investors think about the monetization models around these partnerships, where the capex investments are clearly being made by these potential partners, but you're obviously they're leveraging your distribution to your very attractive install base. So in the long term, do you see the Apple Intelligence part, the services growth from Apple Intelligence being the larger contributor over time, or do you see these partnerships becoming a larger contributor over time? And I will follow up.
I think, the way that I look at it is that Apple Intelligence is the on-device processing and the private cloud compute. And a lot of that will be things with a personal context. And then for world knowledge, we are integrating with ChatGPT initially, and that will be focused on world knowledge, as I said. And so the monetization model, I don't want to get into the terms of the commercial agreements because they're confidential between the parties. But I see both aspects as being, very important. People want both.
Okay, thanks, Tim.
Yeah.
As a follow-up, maybe for Luca, just stepping back to the gross margin discussion again. If I look at calendar 23, you had on average 150 basis points increase in product gross margins on a year-on-year basis. In 2024 so far, we've been more flat year-on-year. When we think about that, is the incremental headwinds, there was FX headwinds throughout the last several years. So ex-FX,
are there other incremental headwinds that are either temporary or structural in nature that are perhaps limiting further upside to what are obviously very strong gross margins? Thank you.
Yeah, of course, as you said, the foreign exchange continues to be, this is incremental on a year-over-year basis, and it's one of those things that is outside of our control. We try to hedge our exposures, but it is what it is. We know that when the dollar is strong, our gross margins are affected. The other element that I think it's always important to keep in mind is that within the products business, our products have different margins profiles, and depending on their relative success in the marketplace, our products gross margin tends to move. And so the mix of our products has an impact on gross margins, right? And so we need to pay attention to that. Of course, we just launched an iPad, and that, is one of the factors. But we want all our products to be very successful in the marketplace, and that's why we always look at, gross margin dollars as the first order of priority, and gross margin percentage tends to follow from that. The other factor that obviously has an impact, a significant impact, is the state of the commodity markets, and they tend to go in cycles, and so we'll see how that plays out over time. But in general, we feel good about the level of gross margins that we have for our products business, and we think we're in a good position there.
Thanks, Luca.
Thanks, Wamsi. Operator, can we have the next question, please?
Our next question is from Krish Sankar with TD Cowen. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, thanks for taking my question, and congrats on the strong results. The first one for Luca or Tim. We keep hearing about these increasing silicon content for AI edge devices. And also, I think, Luca, you spoke about increasing commodity costs. So I'm curious how to think about margins for these new AI devices. And Tim, do any of these Apple Intelligence features need more hardware updates than what we have today? And then I had a quick follow-up.
Maybe I'll take the second one first and then pass it over to Luca. In terms of the requirements to run Apple Intelligence, there are system requirements and there are silicon requirements. And so from an iPhone point of view, the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max will run Apple Intelligence and the successor products, obviously. If you look at the Mac, it starts with the M series of silicon that started in 2020, and the iPad is the same. And so it starts with the M series of silicon. And so there are system requirements and silicon requirements that go with each of those.
And from a gross margin standpoint, as you know, we don't provide any color past the current quarter, and we just provide a guidance for the quarter, 45.5 to 46.5. It is essentially broadly in line with what we reported for the June quarter. So we'll take it quarter by quarter, and we will report as the time goes by.
Got it. Very helpful. And then a quick follow-up for Tim. Thanks for the color on China. We also see many other consumer discretionary and luxury brands talk about a weak China, and I think, Tim, you said half the weakness was FX related. I'm curious, the other half of the weakness, was it more China macro related, or do you think it is kind of like specific to Apple with domestic competitors? Any other color you could give would be very helpful. Thank you very much.
Well, certainly the competitive environment there is the most competitive in the world. I've said that before, and that remains to be the case. The macro economic factors have been in the press too, and I'm not an expert on those. I can only tell you what we're seeing, and we were pleased that the business showed improvement from the first half of the year.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah.
Thank you, Krish. Operator, can we have the next question, please?
Our next question is from David Vogt with UBS. Please go ahead.
Great. Two, if I may also. Tim, first one for you. I know it's early days, and you talked about the developers just getting their hands on Apple Intelligence. But when you think about the categories that are currently in the App Store and kind of what you think app developers could do with this new technology, what's your instinct say in terms of, are these going to be iterative applications to currently available applications? Is there any sort of category that you think lends itself more naturally to Apple Intelligence? Is it games? Is it more creative? I'm just trying to get a sense for how you're thinking about it. And then I have a follow-up for Luca. Thanks.
If you look at how we've deployed Apple Intelligence or are deploying Apple Intelligence, we've really thought about it at pretty much all of the apps that you use every day. And so we've thought about it from notes to mail to messages and all the rest. And so there's been a deep level of thinking about how it affects those apps. And that's going to surface Apple Intelligence in a way that is natural to the user and in a way that will, I think, get them very excited about it and get usage. Similarly, I think the developers will do that on a broad basis with their apps as well. And so I think it's profound. And we'll see what the developers do, but we're very excited to get the initial seed out there this week and see what they do. I think it will be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's helpful. I appreciate it. And Luca, just maybe, I know you didn't give a full rundown of product categories in your prepared remarks, but if I kind of take your comments at face value, I guess what I'm trying to think about is for the next quarter, it sounds like, with services being relatively strong and FX easing a little bit, you're effectively saying that product revenue in the September quarter is going to basically be flat with the September quarter last year ahead of a product launch. And so I'm just trying to get a sense for what are the puts and takes in that sort of outlook, particularly as you have Apple Intelligence hopefully stoking the fire for demand going forward. Thanks.
Well, we have, provided, let me repeat what we provided. We think that we're going to be growing total company revenue at a rate that is similar to what we reported, so the plus 5%, right? In spite of the fact that we're going to have some foreign exchange headwinds, we said about 150 basis points in the December quarter. And we said that we will grow services double digits at a rate that is similar to what we've reported for the first 3 quarters of the fiscal year. We are not going into the other categories. I think there's a lot of good math that you can do from what we've given you here. Keep in mind on the Mac that we will have a challenging compare from a year ago, given the fact that we launched and we had the full quarter impact of the launch of the MacBook Air 15-inch a year ago. And also on the iPad, we reported 24% growth in the June quarter. And clearly, we had the benefit from the launch in the June quarter of the new products, the iPad Air and the iPad Pro. So important to keep that in mind on a sequential basis.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. Operator, may we have the next question, please?
Our next question is from Atif Malik with Citi. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you for taking my questions. The first one is for Tim. I know it's early days. The feedback on Apple Intelligence software features like notification summary and reduced interruption focus from the developers who have tried the iOS 18.1 beta version this week is very positive. My question is, in response to an earlier question, you talked about a staggered launch on some of these software features. So are you expecting most of the features that you announced at WWDC to be part of iOS 18, or we should be thinking that some of these features could potentially be part of iOS 19 next year?
Our objective that we set in June is to roll out US English starting in the fall, and that's to users, and then proceed with more functionality, more features, if you will, and more languages and regions coverage as we proceed across the next year. And so we sort of gave a time frame that, and we're tracking to that.
Understand. And the next one for Luca. Luca, the services growth momentum seems very strong. Are you seeing any impact from changes made to comply with the DMA rules?
Well, as you know, we've introduced some changes to the way we run the App Store in Europe already in March. And we have seen a good level of adoption from developers on those changes. We are, on an ongoing basis, discussing with the European Commission how to ensure full compliance with the DMA. It's obviously early stage, but in general, our results for the services business and for the App Store have been pretty good until now. Again, to just provide you a frame of reference, the percentage of revenue that we generate from the European Union on the App Store is about 7% of the total.
Very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Atif. Operator, may we have the next question, please?
Our next question is from Samik Chatterjee with JP Morgan. Please go ahead.
Yep. Hi. Thanks for taking my question. I guess, Tim, if I can just ask you about Aapl Intelligence as well. There's a regulatory aspect as well in certain geographies. You mentioned the staggered launch that you're aiming for and the timelines you're thinking. How are you thinking about the complexity of the regulatory process, in particular like EU and maybe China? And does in terms of your timelines of the rollout, are you sort of embedding in the regulatory aspect here? And how should we think about timing then, including that? And have a follow-up. Thank you.
We're engaged, as you would guess, with both regulatory bodies that you mentioned. And our objective is to move as fast as we can, obviously, because our objective is always to get features out there for everyone. We have to understand the regulatory requirements before we can commit to doing that and commit a schedule to doing that. But we're very constructively engaged with both.
Okay, got it. And a quick one on the wearables category, Luca, I know you mentioned the acceleration there on a sequential basis. Maybe you can just sort of parse that out in terms of which categories drove the acceleration, because that's been a category that has been lagging a bit in terms of revenue trends for the past couple of quarters. So just curious what is starting to sort of drive it to accelerate on a sequential basis. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll take that one. I think the important thing to remember when you look at the wearables, home and accessory categories is that we have a difficult launch compare. And we've been running that for a few quarters, and we still have that because last year had the continued benefit from the AirPods Pro second generation, the Watch SE, and the very first Watch Ultra. And so it's important to keep that in mind. If you sort of take a step back, however, and look at the business across the trailing 12 months, it's grown, the wearables, home and accessory business has grown to almost $40 billion, which is double what it was 5 years ago.
Thank you.
Thank you, Samik. Operator, may we have the last question, please?
Our last question is from Richard Kramer with Arete Research. Please go ahead.
Thanks very much. Tim, you referenced the investment in innovation, and your R&D sales ratio reached what I think was a June quarter record, even before launching Apple Intelligence. Do you see the rollout of these features requiring further increases in R&D or increases in OpEx or capex for cloud compute capacity? And is it even possible to forecast the services usage as they roll out, given that they're so new for consumers? Thanks. Clearly, we have increased R&D over time. We've been investing in AI and ML for years. And in addition to investing more, we've also redeployed certain skills onto AI and ML. And so the growth in sort of embedded in our numbers that we've shared here is, it's increasing year over year. On the capex part, it's important to remember that we employ a hybrid kind of approach where we do things internally and we have certain partners that we do business with externally, where the capex would appear in their respective businesses. But yes, I mean, you can expect that we will continue to invest and increase it year on year.
Okay, and maybe a quick follow-up for Luca. When we look at the free cash flow margins for the first 9 months, they're up materially. And given this year's product mix, can you describe to us what exactly in the services mix or cost controls is driving what seems to be structurally higher free cash flow margins across the business?
Yeah, I'm glad you noticed that. We are pretty pleased with that fact. And I think you probably also noticed that we've increased our return on capital to shareholders this quarter. I think this one was a record quarter for us. Well, it's a combination of a number of things. Of course, an improvement in the top line helps. The margin expansion that we've had over the last several years and several quarters obviously has helped. And so that is driving, better operating cash flow. On the capex front, as Tim said, we employ a hybrid model. Some of the investments, show up in our, on our balance sheet, and some other investments show up somewhere else, and we pay as we go. But in general, we try to run the company efficiently. We continue to think that capital efficiency is a good thing, and therefore we're pleased with the fact that our free cash flow is doing well this year.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Richard. A replay of today's call will be available for 2 weeks on Apple Podcasts as a webcast on apple.com/investor and via telephone. The number for the telephone replay is 866-583-1035. Please enter confirmation code 1969407 followed by the pound sign. These replays will be available by approximately 5 p.m. Pacific time today. Members of the press with additional questions can contact Josh Rosenstock at 408-862-1142. And financial analysts can contact me, Suhasini Chandramouli, with additional questions at 408-974-3123. Thank you again for joining us today.
All right, guys, so that is it for Apple. Apple, Amazon, not really the response. This is not really the response that people wanted. Apple's technically green, right? It's not the end of the world. It's not like it's down big or anything like that. If we look at Amazon's slightly red. I would say both of these earnings reports were relatively neutral. Like, I don't think these were like crazy good. I don't think they were crazy bad. I think they're somewhere in the middle. I guess I'm going to stick to my middle of the road personality and just say they were kind of flat. They weren't, Amazon as an example had good EPS, missed revenue slightly, but had slightly better guidance, which is more important than revenue, future projections. again, if you look at Apple beat EPS, beat revenue, up a little bit. We'll see what happens, chat. We'll see what happens. Tomorrow, guys, we have non-farm payroll data. Non-farm payroll data. Absolutely huge report. Like, incredibly important. Unemployment drops tomorrow. Expectations for unemployment, chat, just so you guys understand this. Expectations for unemployment tomorrow are for 4.1%. So they're expecting unemployment to stay flat. They're expecting payrolls to dip from 206 to 185. If unemployment comes out at 4.1%, we're doing okay, right? I think a low unemployment report and a low payroll report is a good thing. All right. Why do I think it's a good thing? Is because it means we have less inflation problems and unemployment staying the same. If we can make inflation go down while maintaining the current amount of, jobs, or even by having payroll numbers decrease a little bit, as long as inflation goes down, I think it's justifiable. I think people are working, they're spending money, a lot of people having to work multiple jobs just to be able to afford things because prices are obscenely high, and so payroll numbers decreasing and inflation increasing, or inflation decreasing, is an okay thing. So we'll see what happens. Again, if you want to check out my sponsors, check out Apex. They are a sponsor. They pay me money. If you want to learn to day trade, it's limited risk. The base one's $30. If you pass it, you get $25K in funding. If you fail it, you lose $30. If you try to do the same thing with a live account, you're probably losing thousands of dollars. Most day traders lose. I lost thousands when I first got started. Almost all day traders do. But if you want to limit your risk, learn how to day trade. It comes with real-time data as well. And so if you pay for the real-time data outside of this, it's going to cost like $30. So the value is there. Great way to test your skill. And if you're good enough to pass it, you get $25K up to $300K in funding. There's a bunch of different packages. Check them out. I appreciate the love. And remember, payroll numbers tomorrow. Guys, tomorrow we have payroll numbers. Be ready. I love you all. See you guys later. Y'all be good.